Hello, everyone, and welcome to the information session for the Interfaces Graduate Training Program. I'm Kelly Raymond, the Program Coordinator. I'd like to introduce Dr. Padmini Rangamani, our new Interfaces Program Co-Director. She's been a faculty member in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering at UC San Diego for 10 years. She's now a Jacobs Faculty Scholar, as well as an affiliate faculty member in bioengineering, nanoengineering, material science and engineering, and the Center for Circadian Biology. Dr. Rangamani has training in both engineering and biological sciences, and her research group develops theoretical and computational models of cellular processes. Their long-term research goal is to build comprehensive models of cellular behavior, particularly at the interface of signal transduction and membrane mechanics. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Padmini Rangamani.
Thank you, Kelly. What do you guys see? You see my slides, I hope. And let's make this, we know how to do this, right? And yet we do this. All right, so here we are. I'm going to hide this, and then I should be able to see many, if not all of you up there. So I'm just briefly going to give you an overview of the program. As Kelly mentioned, I have been faculty here at UCSD for 10 years now. And I think the most appropriate way I can introduce this program is my own students. Very many of my own students have been part of this specialization, and they have benefited from the cohort, the people, right? The students, you guys are the most important part of all of this, and the training. And the slides are very brief. And the goal here is to get you guys thinking about it and asking questions. So this is a graduate training program. It essentially confers you with a degree, which essentially has a specialization in multi-scale biology. So for example, if you are in whatever home department you are, you have trying to get a PhD in chemistry or in mechanical engineering. My students have certificates that says PhD in mechanical and aerospace engineering with specialization in multi-scale biology. Okay, so that's the specialization that we are working towards. You still have your home graduate program. And essentially what this allows us to do is think a little bit about what is the value proposition here. As all of you are here, who are present here, are interested in thinking about interdisciplinary sciences. This program actually really showcases what is something we hold very dear in research at UCSD, right? You know that we do a lot of interdisciplinary stuff, and a lot of interdisciplinary stuff is where the future challenges that we face in many different fields are. So this program is a graduate training program between biology, health, physics, physical sciences, and engineering sciences. And its history actually goes back quite a ways, nearly 20 years now. I started with a HHMI grant to initiate this interdisciplinary type of graduate education. And in 2009, it became an official interdisciplinary PhD specialization. Subsequently, so the big picture that we're talking about today, just to emphasize, is the PhD specialization. And subsequently, this was supported also in part by a training grant. The nature of this program is a lot of interdisciplinary collaboration. There are 10 graduate programs that are part of it. And you get access to a community of co-mentors and your peers, your cohort. And the idea is to give you in the classroom and through your research state-of-the-art interdisciplinary training. You get a hands-on course curriculum, a laboratory course curriculum, and then the other part, which is a big emphasis, is thinking about quantitative analysis across multiple scales of biological organization. You may be thinking about cells and cell mechanics like I do in my group, or you may be thinking about how do I deal with omics data or organelles, or maybe at the tissue scale. To be a part of this specialization, students take 3 hands-on lab courses. There are bi-weekly graduate seminars, which have been some of my favorite talks I have gone to on campus, actually. And there is an annual symposium, and there are many opportunities to get to know the community that makes this program. There is a TA-ship requirement for one of the lab courses, and even if you're not sure in the moment of whether that is something you've thought about or want to do, I can tell you that all the students who've done it have really enjoyed the aspect of, TAing for this specialization. The participating programs, I told you there were 10 programs. They are listed here, and pretty obvious. This is just here for completeness. And what we are trying to distinguish, so all of this is part of the PhD specialization. There is an additional aspect I did mention, a training grant. The training grant has finite number of funding slots. So when you apply to be part of the specialization, that is giving you access to this training. That is not necessarily applying for funding. And if you're a student here, you are eligible to apply to the specialization. If you are, the funding criteria have a certain additional details. So you have to be a US citizen or a permanent resident. And it supports about 3 new trainees a year. So the training grant is a portion of the specialization, only focusing on funding. And in our latest edition of this training grant, you are required to identify, along with your primary mentor. I'm assuming you all have a primary mentor, or it's spring quarter, so you're thinking about who your primary mentor may be. You identify co-mentors who might provide you research training in either, a technology or in multi-scale aspects. More often than not, Professor McCulloch, the faculty who work on the specialization and the training grant, and Kelly can help you find co-mentors, and we can look at the faculty list as well. There is also an additional opportunity to be eligible for the UC San Diego fellowship match. So this is in addition to the training grant slot. So there is some funding opportunity within the specialization as well. But again, to emphasize, you don't have to be a US citizen or permanent resident to be a part of the graduate specialization. That education is open to everybody. This is requirement only to be potentially considered for funding on the training grant. Okay, so in general, what does it say? Who can apply? Students can, the best time course, based on our experience, students can apply at the end of their first year. That allows you to plan out your coursework, because now there are these additional courses, and think how all of this integrates with your research. But if you are interested and you're not in your first year right now and you're thinking about it, we do encourage you to apply. Students accepted into the specialization, I've iterated this a few times, may be eligible to receive funding and to receive the specialization on their degree. These are you need to advance to candidacy. So that is, completing your Senate exam, which is the campus standard for advancing to candidacy, and then completing the programmatic requirements, so the TA-ship, and then the 3 courses that we discussed. And then a list of courses that are offered here for us to quickly take a look at. There is a new course that is coming through, data science for multi-scale biology. We're very excited about it because I think that's where a lot of the forefront of big data analysis in life sciences are. The instructors are named there. We have multi-scale neurodynamics. This is a very popular course, tissue engineering. Imaging at 2 length scales, right? Medical imaging and then molecular imaging. Both have different length scales, give you very different perspectives, but important. Numerical analysis, so this is your mathematical modeling and solving numerical equations. and then the molecular structure determination lab. So you have these different courses that are offered to you. The schedule is usually published well in advance, so rarely, if any, surprises as you start to plan your course schedule with your research work. And then the list of training grant faculty is spearheaded by Dr. McCulloch. And you can see the faculty are listed on the website. I won't go through all the names, but if you're thinking about co-mentors, you can find the training grant faculty across campus. And what else did I want to say? The thing that I find this community brings together is, of course, cutting edge research, right? I mean, you guys do amazing work, but also the community building part, which is so important in graduate school, like finding your peers and your cohort. So student seminars happen every other week. Kelly makes sure there are amazing snacks. She always takes care of the students. It's usually a 20-minute seminar followed by questions. And when I started this conversation, I said, this is one of my favorite events to go to. And you can see the level of engagement and discussion and questions that come about within the students, right? Like people are thinking about this cutting edge science. There are lunches with mentors. There's the annual research symposium, which is a flagship event. There are social events that Kelly plans painstakingly. And then there is for those who are funded on the training grant, every other year, you get to go to the national institutes in Bethesda and showcase your research progress. So this happened in 2023. So the next one will be in 2025. And then if all of this sounds very exciting, and I hope it does, how do you become a part of it? So the applications will be posted on Monday coming up. And I can tell you that it is not a tedious application. It is usually pretty straightforward. And you have about a couple of weeks to submit it. And Kelly answers all the questions. She knows all the answers. And if you're not sure, then Kelly knows where to find the answers too. So I think that is pretty much what I wanted to say. Kelly, did I cover everything?
You did. I want to encourage everyone to review the website real well. There's lots of good information on the website. The faculty members for the training grant are denoted as such on the faculty page. Their role is either training grant faculty or interdisciplinary co-mentor. And so if you're looking for someone who's on the training grant, you will be able to find them that way. I'd also like to encourage you to review the admissions page really well. The criteria that will be on the application is listed on that page. So you can actually go ahead and get started gathering your data now, particularly those recommendation letters from your faculty or your PI. Those are typically what take up so much time, and people have trouble getting in on time. So make sure you get that done as soon as possible. Let's see.
I wonder if we can just put the link in the chat. That's what I was trying to do. I can always pull up the slides if any of you have more questions, but maybe we can just, meantime, put the link in the chat. Let me do that.
I got it.
Okay, thanks, Kelly.
Sure. There you go. Anybody got questions? Now's the time to ask them.
How many of you here are first-year students?
Okay.
How many of you are not first-year students and thinking about potentially joining in?
Great. Good.
Hi, I have a clarifying question. You might have already covered this, but so do I need to be co-mentored by one of those faculty members on the interfaces grant in order to qualify, or like if my faculty that my PI is part of is not on the list, would I not qualify?
Dr.
So,
Rangamani, do you want to address that?
yeah, so if you want to, so this actually, Kelly, you should clarify this because there is the program part and then there's the training grant part, and I don't want to say anything out of town. Would you mind, Kelly?
Absolutely, happy to. It is a little complex, and it took me a while to get it. If you're going for the PhD specialization, we'd like you to have a training grant faculty member on there, but it's not essential. If your current PI is not listed on the faculty page and they're interested in joining the program, it's pretty simple and pretty quick. So don't worry about that. There's a really good chance we can add them. If you are on the training grant, if you do get funding, your team needs to be training grant faculty. It can be plus a PI who is not on the training grant, but you are supposed to have 2 training grant faculty members. And we did change the criteria. It used to be that your faculty had to be from different disciplines, like, engineering and bioengineering and physics or something like that. But now you have to choose a faculty member who is going to help you with the technology and a faculty member who is going to help you with the domain science problem. So if you're on the training grant, those people have to be training grant faculty members. If you're not receiving funding, they don't have to be. That's the simple answer. Does that make sense? It's a little complicated.
Yeah, so there's a question in the chat, and then Michelle had their hand raised. For the training grant, you said there were 3 classes required. Of the listed classes, which ones are included or are they separate? Emily, I interpret your question to mean, are the 3 classes that are required to be selected from the 6 that I showed you? And the answer is yes. You can pick 3 out of those 6 classes, in addition to whatever course requirement your program may have, your home department may have. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
And
Can I ask a quick question? Oh, sorry.
Yes. I'm sorry, I lost Michelle. But yes, go ahead, Dylan, sorry. Where's Michelle?
I was just wondering how many letters of recommendation are required for the application.
2 are required. They don't have to be very long or very detailed. We are looking for commitment of support, right, for your training.
Yeah, we want to know that the person who's recommending you is willing to commit their time and energy and give you bona fide intellectual input. And if we really want you to try to tie what you're doing to the themes of the program, which are interdisciplinary research across multiple scales of biology. And sometimes people can't get their letters in on time, but it's we really want to have those available for the steering committee. So if you can get 2 of them, that's great. If you can only get in 1 on time, that's okay. But yeah, we want 2.
So my advice there is if you're even thinking about applying, today would be a good day in the afternoon to write those emails because you have 3 weeks. Just managing other people's time, I guess, is what I'm getting at. And sometimes it does happen that for various reasons, because people are very busy, a second letter does roll in a little bit after that deadline, and you can just work it with, let Kelly know. And yeah, and then does that answer your question? Yeah. And then I saw one hand. I think Taylor, you had your hand up, and then there are a couple of questions in chat. Taylor, did you have a question? No. Taylor Foreman?
No.
Okay. Do we need to have commenters chosen at the time of application? Your rotations are still going. This is a fair question. I think Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes we have had commenters chosen along the way in the process. There have been cases where there is a clear, strong fit with the applicant and the program. And then we've, the faculty on this side do help you find a commenter if that's the question, Sarah. We can work with you if there are uncertainties.
And you can just put that on the application. You can just say, I don't have a co-mentor yet. That's not uncommon. We understand, especially for the first years, that there's a possibility that they have not made their decision yet. So don't worry about it. And as far as both letters being from UCSD faculty, I've not run across that yet, but I don't think that's a problem. Our preference is UC faculty, SD faculty, but again, your first year, so you may not have someone who can vouch for you like that. But yeah, that should be fine.
Maybe one thing to think about is that if you can get one letter from UCSD showing a commitment for your duration of stay here, and then you have another letter from your prior pre-UCSD life showcasing your past work or your abilities, that might be a good balance, right? So part of one of the letters is a letter of support, not so much of a letter of recommendation, right? If that makes sense. So I think that if you had one letter from UCSD, but I don't know that we have a hard requirement. I know we do look for, are the mentors supporting the applicant? So maybe that's a good rubric question to keep in mind.
Anybody else?
And maybe I can address something Kelly said earlier. If you think your faculty mentor, wants to be a part of this program, I can share with you my own experience. I wanted to be part of this program when I came here 10 years ago, and it required emailing the person who was running the show before Kelly and saying, hey, I think I really want to be part of this and meet all these amazing students. What do I do? And then it kind of took care of itself. I remember it, since I don't have a strong memory of it, it must not have been a painful procedure is how I would think about it. Yeah. So is the application separate? No, I don't believe so. I think the application is the same. I think you do get to fill out if you're asking for funding or not. So there are cases where they explicitly say, no, we have the funding, or I'm not eligible, I want the specialization. So you can check that box if you're asking to be considered for funding. And I believe the answer to the second one is correct. To qualify for the training grant, you need, is that?
Yeah, when you're applying, we understand you don't know if you're going to get on the training grant or not. So you just, give us the information that you know at the time. And as when we notify you later on, oh, hey, guess what? You're going to get the training grant. That's great. And you need to add to your team. We can add training grant faculty at that time. But, if especially if you're first year right now and you don't know. So don't stress over that. Does that help?
That sounds good. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I just wanted to clarify though is because you said that there's also interdisciplinary co-mentors listed on there. Do those count as well? They have two different names. I was just wondering what's the difference between.
Yes. Interdisciplinary co-mentor is someone who is not named on the NIH T32 paperwork.
Okay, cool. So in order to qualify, eventually we'll need two that have that.
If you're on the training, if you're being funded, we need you to have two training grant. If you're not being funded, it's great if you have a training grant person on there, but it's not required. Does that help? I know it's complex. Yeah. Took me forever to get it all figured out. So
sounds good. And also, if your advisors happen to be listed there, it's okay to have them be the co-mentors, right? Like that's
yes. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, we're not asking you to change your change your
Like,
research.
add more.
No.
And one of my advisors was saying that perhaps one of the letters of rec should come from, I mean, this is before I knew my advisors were on this, but I guess I wasn't sure if the letter of rec should also come from one of the people you're listing as a mentor or training grant person. The letters of rec, they don't have to, they could be from your advisor, right? And not from these people the co-mentors.
Yes, they can be from your advisor, right? So think about the fact that the first thing is the specialization, right? So your PhD. So we want to make sure that you and your advisor are on board. So that would, and if the letters of rec should come from people who can support your program of education.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Dr. Rangamani, do you mind addressing Brock's question in the chat? Because I'm not strong on the science part.
I can't see it. I think it might have been sent to you.
Is this year's submission cardio specific or open to other disciplines such as?
So, Brock, this program, to my knowledge, is never, like, the science is not limited. It's interdisciplinary interface. It's the interface of specialization, right? So it's basically not limited to cardio. This grant is actually, this program is not, limited to cardio. It can be cancer. We've seen work in mitochondria, we've seen work in neurons, we've seen work in cardio also, but it's not specialized now.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. What do you work on?
Cancer imaging.
Sounds good. I mean, there are 2 imaging things going on, so throw in your hat, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you.
Anybody else? If you have any questions, just let me know. My information's on the contact page of the website. The website has a lot of great information, so be sure you look at that when it's convenient for you and get started early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you should all feel free to email me as well if you're not sure. One of us, mostly Kelly, we'll figure out the answers and respond to you in a timely manner. Our goal is to make sure that you guys succeed in grad school. That's the plan.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming. And again, let us know if you have any questions. And thank you, Dr. Rangamani. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kelly, for putting it all together. All right. Thanks, everyone. Good luck with everything.
Thanks.
Bye.